Well, me too. So I'm gonna play some guitar until some people kind of start coming in, and then we'll kind of get started, and we'll talk about these glasses. We might talk a little bit about some stuff that I've got off camera there. I don't know. We're gonna see how this one goes. So I'm writing this new one, and it's about pride. I'll play you a little bit of it while people are coming in. I don't have the words down yet, though, so you're just gonna get the music. Hold on, I want to make sure I'm on the Wi-Fi. I'm not. That would have been good. Hello! We're just hanging out for a little bit until people start coming in. Hanging out for a little bit. People are kind of coming in as time goes on. I'm just kind of playing guitar, chilling. It's Saturday morning. We're going to talk about some stuff like the glasses that I've got on my head. We got some other things over here we're going to talk a little bit about. I'm just kind of hanging out this morning. Kick back, relax, open up another tab. Browse some Reddit. This is a Pride song that I'm writing at the moment. I don't know if I'm gonna release it this year or maybe next year, but we're gonna think about it. And it gets really heavy after that. Okay, so we've got a couple people kind of streaming in a little bit here and there. So I want to talk a little bit about, oh, now we got some people coming in. All right, I got these glasses on my face. And notice how they're kind of broken and stuff like that, right? Oh, my guitar almost fell over. So my glasses here, right? I kind of got a little bit of busted space right there. I kind of got a little bit of busted space up here. And there's not really any frames going through them either, right? So these glasses, for a short while in my college days, I played in this Balkan klezmer band. And these were the glasses that I would wear on stage. And so they're all sorts of beat up. Hey, Robert, how are you? This is a part of my like kind of upbringing. Oh my God, they're even broken right here. I'm glad I didn't kind of break that open. But these just have been sitting in this box over here, and I'll just let you have a little sneak peek. It's really messy. Don't judge. Okay, there you go. It's really messy. I'm like working on it. The Suez Canal thing is like put all my furniture that's sitting over there kind of on the back burner, and I can't get any of that furniture coming in for a while. So I'm just kind of like sitting here like, okay, like got a bunch of stuff needing a home. But so I used to play in a Balkan klezmer band, and this band was sort of like my first experience in a band itself. So how did I find this Balkan klezmer band? Well, it started when I was a young lad, a young whippersnapper. And hello, welcome to the stream. And it was kind of like, so, okay, let me paint you the picture. When I was in college, my like primary thing was I would like go to a coffee shop. I would kind of like hang out for a little while, maybe write some music, work on some business stuff, not do the homework that I was required to do. And I was always just kind of like being creative in this space. It was a very creative space. People were moving in and out. Other people were working on similar stuff as well. This was called Kaya Coffee. Love it. It was my favorite place. So anyway, I was walking back from Kaya one time and I was feeling really good. Like I had a good day. Like I was like, oh, cool. There's some people jamming in the park. And so I walked over to them, and I always carried an instrument with me because I never knew when I would have an opportunity to jam with somebody. And in this case, it was an egg shaker. So I had just a little tiny egg shaker. And I walked up to them and I was like, hey, I was kind of just like chilling, listening to their klezmer stuff. And somebody was like, I've seen you around the music building. And I was like, yeah, that's me. I'm Claire. I wasn't Claire at the time. And hi, Scott. And so I was sitting here and I was jamming, and then like I started using my egg shaker, and it just sort of evolved into this like rhythmic, like cool kind of, I think we were playing in 7 at that time, and we were just kind of like doing a thing. And we gathered a crowd. There were 4 of us, and the bassist that was playing had this big stand-up bass, this giant wheel at the bottom of it. And that's how we were able to like play outward. And the drum had like strapped, it was like a big floor tom that he would hit and everything. Oh, it was a blast. It was such a good time. So anyway, if you're just joining us now, I'm telling you the story about these glasses and why these glasses started to come through into everything. They're a little bit broken. And I used to play with Balkan Klezmer Gypsy Band. So when I got into this group, I had never played a guitar with a band before. Hell, I was barely playing guitar by myself at that time too. And I would play, like, it was really complex music, and it was a little above me at that time. But it was just so much fun to kind of like, just hang out with everybody. And I was just in that sort of space, just like jamming for the first time and actually being a part of something other than like a solo performance, right? Like, it kind of goes like this. Let's see if I can remember a little bit of it. Tutti frutti tequila, tequila. I don't remember all the words, but that's one of our songs that we played, and I took lead on that one. And it was so much fun to play with this group. My lamp just fell over. And so we would go all over Michigan, and we would play in these groups and festivals. We would go to like different coffee shops. The band's name was called Kava Zabava. K-A-Z-A-B-A. Kava. I messed it up. K-A-V-A-Z-A-B-A-V-A. And if you look us up on Bandcamp, you'll find some of our old music, Kava Zabava, Bandcamp, or something like that. And just a blast, it's so much fun. And what that translates to is coffee party. And so we would go around Michigan and just play Balkan Klezmer music, and it was a blast. So Mike, the organizer of the Kava Zabava group, that was our band leader. He was from Toronto, and he had his own band, which I highly suggest you listen to instead of Kava Zabava. We weren't very good. It was a lot of fun though. But that was called Lemon Bucket Orchestra. And so if you want to hear like what like get down kind of like funky party Balkan Klezmer music sounds like, go to Lemon Bucket Orchestra in Google. I think you'll find a couple of songs by them. Songs, and like the band is huge. It's like 20, 24, 25 people, and it was just like you would walk into a space, and there we were just like encompassing everything, and it was just sound. It was so infectious. So anyway, that was my experience having these glasses on stage, and I would always wear them, and I found them on a tour, and it was a blast, and they're broken, and I never wear them, but they sit in a box to remind me of this time. So anyway, Kava Zabava. So let's talk about a little bit more of this, because I want to talk about how, so I released the behind the scenes yesterday of Ignorant Creatures, and it's a kind of a cool like look at kind of like me as a producer and like what it was like on set directing and sort of just like the energy and stuff that was a part of that space. And so I thought it might be a good idea to kind of talk a little bit about how I started in photography and things like that. And the segue that I'm making now is from Kava Zabava. So when I was in Kava Zabava, like I said, it was a little above me. And Mike, the band leader, was like, Claire's really dedicated and she really wants to like be a part of this whole group thing. But I wasn't strong. I wasn't a strong enough player to be playing on a tour. And so what I did is I took the role of the tour photographer, the videographer, and things like that. And some of those images kind of float around. If you dig a little deep into my postings and stuff like that, you might see some of that kind of stuff come through. But oh, cool. Hey, John from Australia. It's late. It's early for you. What are you doing early? This is wow. Thanks for watching. So I was the tour photographer, and we were only on tour for I think 9 days. So it was 9 days that we were on tour for, and it was a constant hustle. So I'm reading this book. It's over there. I'll get it later. I'll show you later. But I'm reading this book, and it's a memoir about a war photographer. And in it, she describes the hustle and kind of things like that. And I kind of relate to it, just minus the danger. Thank God. And it was a constant push. Every single moment of this tour was go, 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 go. We were traveling from town to town to town. So that means we would kind of get up early. We would work late nights. And I remember me sitting in the van, editing photos, editing videos. I was just constantly doing this. I had a battery pack that I was powering my laptop. I'd make sure it was charged so I could edit beforehand and everything. And I would shoot probably 1,600 images a concert. And if you've ever been a photographer, you'll know that that's a lot. And now I'm going to bring in this baby right here. So this is my baby. This is the one that I shoot with a lot. I've had it for many years. It's nothing impressive. It's just a Canon 60D, but I know it. And I've always felt the more you know your camera, I was actually shooting with the same lens too, but the more you know your camera, the better you can shoot it. Because now I can adjust my aperture, and I know kind of right where it's spitting at. I know how my ISO feels. I know it. I can almost go through the entire menu without looking at it. I know this camera like the back of my hand. And so I feel really comfortable shooting with it. If I were to ever shoot a concert again, which might happen in the future, this is the one that I would shoot with, because concert footage, concert photography is so quick and you need a brief second to grab it. And so I did that. I did that for, not an exaggeration here, I was probably shooting for between 12 and 14 hours a day. And if I wasn't shooting during that time, I was editing. That was the amount of focus and attention I was putting into that tour photography. And so I just remember near the end, everybody kept offering me food and water. And I was like, no, I'm fine. Do you think? And now I'm looking back on it, and they were watching this young man at the time, just intensely focusing, editing, uploading, publishing photos to the band page, to the marketing, to the next town. I was doing all the things that I do now for myself, but for a band at that time. And I was also taking on all the footage and everything like that as well. So that was probably the high of my high when I was shooting photography. And I haven't done that in a while. I have a couple other stories I'll tell you another time, but that are similar to that kind of experience. And I've always loved the photo documentation of events and just experiences, because it's just, you just feel you're one with it. You can share that experience with so many people. And then you get back from this. And that's partly why I shoot so many images, because these moments just gone, the snap of a finger. And so sometimes I just sit there and I put my camera on burst, and I just sit there and there's, maybe 40 images of that one moment in time. And I have to go through all those 40 and see which one is the best one. I love it, because you can see so much there, and you get the chance to pick that one image that's going to stand out, and people are like, whoa, that's cool. So anyway, if you're shooting concert photography, a little tip for you, shoot into the light. Don't shoot with the light. Oh, it's so good. It's so good. Thanks. Yeah, I love it. It's like, I have so much passion for photography and things like that, and like just music and art in general and stuff. Later in life, when I got to, oh, by the way, I'm going to be wrapping up here in probably like the next like 5 to 10 minutes. So if you want any questions or anything, if you have any things that you want to mention or know a little bit more about, now's the time. I'm going to come back to them. So when I was shooting, right, I kind of got to this point where, well, this was like, if you've watched this, you probably know a little bit of my story, but, I was kicked out and I moved off to Seattle and did the whole thing. And I got here, and this is the camera that I started using. And I was shooting like, I was going to events, I was going to things like that. And I was shooting for like $2 an image. That's like all I like. I mean, I was trying to make food. I was trying to like, I needed to eat. The girl's skinny. She still is. And I was trying to like get this, and I was just trying to like shoot anything I could. And then I would talk to the band or talk to them afterwards, and they'd be like, hey, I just shot your images. I'm just trying to make a couple bucks for, whatever. What's your email address? I'll send them to you. I'll add them up. You can pick the ones you want and buy them. And that was the first time that I ever took put my foot into entrepreneurship. Whew, that's a entrepreneurship. There you go. And it's been like, it was kind of frustrating a little bit because I didn't know what I needed to be doing. I only know that I needed to be focusing on the things that I loved. I didn't know how to make that money though. I didn't know how to like actually make it a career. I just knew that if I didn't do what I loved, I would be unhappy and I would kind of just fall away. And so I found myself in a really difficult situation, and I started looking for jobs, of course, and things like that at that time as well. And the more work that I found myself in, so I found myself in a photography job where I was shooting product photography, and that's kind of soul sucking, especially because you had a quota. But then like in the middle of that job, my dad passed away. And so my dad passed away, and going through his stuff, I found this little Kodak Brownie. It's an 8mm camera. And on this was a roll of film, which I have sitting back in that corner right there. And this film had images of my dad on it and his brother, and I think my aunts as well. I'm not sure. It's been a while. But it was so low contrast. It was so difficult to pull through. It was like $60 to develop this film. I had to send it to someplace in Georgia and get this whole thing developed. But it was, like to store film, you have to do it in a refrigerator in a cold environment. And this was just sitting in the basement on a shelf, with film in it. And I haven't used this camera yet. I would love, love, love to shoot something with it. Just the film itself is expensive. Getting it developed is expensive. And it's only like, I don't know actually how long it takes to do this. Maybe like 20 minutes or something, but no sound either. So maybe one day I'll do a vlog with this camera. That could be cool. So anyway, I found this camera, and I think like this is kind of when I started doing my video work, which is in part why I was just so like excited about finding this. But wow, that lens is really dirty. I just noticed that. I'm gonna have to clean that lens out in there. And finally, then the last camera that I have, and I have a few different cameras back there as well, but this is one of my favorites because I have yet to find a lens for it. This is called a Chinon camera. Ever heard of Chinon camera? I found a couple lenses online, but they're crazy expensive, and I just don't really want to buy one. But the reason that I like this camera is because notice how I'm screwing this off. This is a screw mount lens. And so the only way to put this on is a screw, and you have to kind of like make sure the threads are lined up. You don't want to choke those threads out. And like with most modern cameras and other digital cameras, you have a twist. And then that lens comes off, right? And then it comes back on. And so that is the first camera that I've ever seen. I found it at an antique store, and I was like, that's kind of cool. That's kind of neat, nifty. And I bought it, and I've yet to shoot with it. I've never I've never had an opportunity to shoot with it. It's a little bit more robust. It has a little bit more stops on it, which is kind of nice. It's not as beat up, but some of my other ones, I know just like that, a Canon there. So that's kind of all I got today. Just some stories about my photography and stuff like that. If you haven't watched the Ignorant Creatures short film, it's on the Little Gray Cat channel. So you can find that. I don't know. I'll put it in the description down below after this video. But if you have any questions, I'm going to go through some of them now before I wrap up too much. I've got a creative day ahead of me. I'm going to create a Seattle Voice Lab poster to hang up on my wall. So if you're ever walking down Capitol Hill in Seattle and you see Seattle Voice Lab, that's me. So yeah, George, they did used to make lenses like that before. And I haven't I found a couple on eBay, but I've never found one in person. And I don't know. I don't want to buy lenses because I shoot with lenses. I want to buy them and experience them. And so I want to see if I find one in a store or something one day, I'm going to be like, yeah, that's it. I got it. It's an experience. It's not just I'm going to buy a lens and I'm going to put it on the wall. It's I want to have that, that excitement about finding the thing that I haven't found for so long. So, Chris, what's your question? Let's see. John asks, am I coming to Australia for a holiday? I would like to, Bushwookie, I have got some advice for you. Yeah, I would like to come to Australia. There's not a rush for me to come down there. I've always kind of been fascinated with Sydney and just sort of that area, but I don't know enough about it other than things will kill me and everything's upside down. So no, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's something that I would like to do. I just want to travel more, which I might be going to London soon. So I've got some friends over in London that I'm going to go over and see. And then I have, I think Melanie has offered to fly me around in London as well, or in the UK. So I might meet up with Melanie and we might just kind of hang out in a private plane. I want to be a pilot one day. I don't know if anybody know that, but I'd love to be a pilot one day. So so Bushwiki. Bushwiki says, I'll be moving to Seattle soon and I can't wait for therapy and hormones. Okay, so because you're pre-trans, I would just pre-transition or an egg. I don't know, however you want to call it. I want to mention that definitely try and meet up or go into Ingersoll if you're moving to Seattle. Ingersoll is it's a support group, but more than that, they offer services and you can get legal documentations, your rights in Washington as a trans person and medical stuff, just who to know, what doctors to contact and things like that. So if you are moving to Seattle and you are transitioning, excuse me, and something happened and I don't know what it was. Yeah, if you're moving to Seattle, go to Ingersoll, get some information. It'll do you a lot of good. It'll do you a lot of good. Okay, so let's go back to those comments. Joe Famous, do I plan on filming and producing music videos? I've actually shot a few music videos in the past, not for myself, but for others. There are a couple. So I think I put the behind the scenes of John Apollos' music video down there somewhere. It's I can't remember, but it was I think it cost us $15,000 to make, and there was a lot of stuff there. But it was I was just producing it. I was an exec producer on that one, and that was a good one. But as far as my own music videos, not really. Music is interesting for me because I find see Atlantis, Andy Elizabeth, bye. And music is interesting for me because I've started to learn that music is too close to home. Music was a release for me in transition and stuff. And the more I try to make it a career or try to make it a profession, I struggle with feeling motivated to be a musician. And so I've been just trying to keep music really kind of inside and close to home kind of idea. So like I'm not opposed to doing my own music videos and things like that, but it's not a priority, right? Because like then it starts to feel like work a little bit, and it's too emotional for me. It's much too close to home. So when you hear my music, you're literally hearing my emotions and how I feel about everything. I don't sugarcoat things in my music. Okay, so let's keep going. So, oh man, you can see how emotional I'm getting in that one. Okay, so Chris, shoot me a message. Andy, congratulations, Andy. Oh, that's awesome. Thank you, Chris. I really appreciate it. Thanks, George. Ted, shoot me a message. And okay, I think that's about it today. So, whoa, somebody from Kenya. That's so cool. Hey, Kenya. All right. Well, I appreciate all of you sticking by and hanging out with me for a little while. We talked a lot about like these glasses, you know, my experiences with the Gypsy Band and the Balkan Klezmer Gypsy Band. I have to be careful about saying Gypsy Band, but like, because we didn't think about it as derogatory, but that's because we were ignorant at the time and we were a bunch of kids running around. So it's like ingrained right here. But we talked about cameras, music, and just kind of everything else. Instagram's a good way to do it. That was kind of a weird statement because I saw a comment there and I was like, there's 27 of you and only one of you asked the question that I answered in that moment. So anyway, I'm wrapping up. I appreciate it. And I will see you all